knew that a petition was pending because these CCTV footage were demanded by Mahmood Pracha first in Punjab and Haryana election and then also in Delhi Lok Sabha election. So the deletion appears to be malified after having knowledge, and appears that they had something to hide in some crime that was committed. What they should do, if they lose, and even if they don't have sufficient grounds, they should immediately, all of them who suspect any type of foul play, should file an election petition immediately. Bihar is on high alert. So let us see tomorrow, because rigging starts right from the preparation of the electoral roll, and it goes on till the counting and the certificate is given. That entire period, and that is all sanitized. You have to guard yourself. You have to be one step ahead of now the thief is the state itself, is the ECI itself. ECI has become shameless. It doesn't matter whatever epithets you use against it. It has become his master's voice.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. The statement by the Election Commission, if you look at what has happened, the Election Commission of India has informed the Delhi High Court that CCTV footage of the 7 district election officers in the national capital stands destroyed. Now, the Election Commission had in June directed the state election officers to destroy the CCTV webcasting and video footage of the election process after 45 days. If the decision was not challenged in courts within that period, it was seen as a bid to curb what the commission called malicious narratives using its electronic data. Now, this happened in response to a petition which was filed by Mahmood Pracha, and he had asked for the CCTV footage, all the visual material inside the polling booth, to which the lawyer for the Election Commission said that within 45 days now, according to the revised guidelines, we destroy that footage, and therefore there is no visual material left. So which means that whatever vote theft has happened, according to the allegations which have surfaced for the last 1 year or a little more than that, which means that there is no evidence of that. Apart from that, so the court has taken the statement on record, and the courts look helpless. They can't do anything in this case. And what is happening in Bihar on the ground, I want to show you some pictures. So on one hand, you have a court which is helpless, which doesn't say anything, and the vote theft evidence has been destroyed, the visual material. And here on the screen, you see another allegation which has surfaced late night in Sasaram, where you see a truck load of empty boxes. They entered inside the premises where the Sasaram strong room was. And what RJD has protested, that there was a truck carrying empty boxes which entered late, and DM and SP had to intervene. And in fact, what some of the RJD workers also said, that apparently there was a lathi charge, and all these allegations have surfaced. I also want to show you the footage from several parts of Bihar where they said, now this footage which you see on your screen is actually that gate where the Sasaram strong room is, where the truck inside went. And the truck was carrying loads of boxes. In fact, in on one of the platforms, we also saw that they were showing it that they were empty boxes. But the question is that how did that truck enter inside the premises where the strong room was? Why was it not prohibited? Then there are several reports like from Chhapra, from Muzaffarpur, that the CCTV cameras are not working, which are supposed to be guarding the strong rooms, which should be working round the clock. Now, this is footage from various parts of Bihar, and it's not one, but many places have reported that the CCTV camera is not working. So you see two contrasting pictures. If at all this vote theft is happening, now look at this, that no CCTV was closed for a single second, releasing clips on social media from DM Muzaffarpur. That's what the clarification which has come from the Chief Electoral Officer Bihar. But if at all this CCTV cameras are off, which means, is there a suspicious activity happening when these cameras are not working? Why did this truckload of boxes enter inside the premises? Now, these are questions which need answers, which nobody has clarified so far. And on the other hand, when you petition the matter in the court, say, for example, what Mahmood Pracha did, and he wanted the visual material and he wanted the evidence. So the Election Commission's lawyer says that it stands destroyed. So what does one do now? And what is this situation? It's a peculiar situation which has arisen in India's democracy. How does one tackle that? Joining me this evening is lawyer and activist Arun Agarwal, who's been keeping a close watch on this electoral fraud which has been happening. And it's not recently, but for the last so many years, he's been following this. Thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal, for joining. And my first question to you, sir, is regarding the stand which has been taken by the Election Commission with the Delhi High Court, where they've said that all the CCTV footage of these 7 districts in Delhi stands destroyed. Now, what does that mean? How crucial that admission is? And does it go to show that courts are helpless now?
Good evening, Niluji. You see, whatever the Election Commission has said, that has to be verified. First of all, we have to see on which date was the petition filed. Because I have cross-checked and I have found that these laws were notified in December of 2024. And the guidelines for deleting were issued on May 30th, 2025. That means as recent as 5 months, if you take May, end of May, another 5 months before the hearing. Now, if that application was filed with the Election Commission prior to May, then according to their own admission, it was deletion after the Election Commission knew that a petition was pending, because these CCTV footage were demanded by Mahmood Pracha first in Punjab and Haryana election, and then also in Delhi Lok Sabha election. So the deletion appears to be malified after having knowledge, and appears that they had something, to hide, in some crime that was committed in which the Election Commission was complicit. That was to be hidden because there is allegation of voter theft and impersonation of, faulty electoral rolls prepared to facilitate voter impersonation at the time of the election, which can only be caught due to this CCTV footage, because now you have fact checkers who can go and see on Facebook here, there and where, whether this man who is in the queue or who is voting is a bogus voter or a genuine voter. So that is one part of the this thing that has to be verified. So having said that, the other part was that they had amended the rules earlier because there was impersonation and there was known rigging of the election. Otherwise, there was no need. And this amendment had come about after the Punjab and Haryana High Court had ruled in favor of Mahmood Pracha that the CCTV footage should be made available. The third point is that that amendment was also under challenge in the Supreme Court. Now, it is another matter that Supreme Court does not believe in taking up matters relating to fair elections on an urgent basis. It thinks that it can be pending, whether it is electoral bonds, whether it is SIR, whether it is appointment of the election commissioners, It doesn't matter. I mean, let it pend for 2 years, 3 years. Their priority is somewhere else for reasons which is best not stated and for reasons which is known. This has become a recurrent feature of the Supreme.
Mr. Agarwal, what I want to know, what I want to understand from you is that yesterday the judge had just taken the statement on record. Shouldn't she have asked certain questions as to why it's happening? Because there's a case which is pending in the Supreme Court. Does this particular incident show that the high courts are citing some kind of helplessness when it comes to election petitions like these?
No. You see, the court rightly took the facts on record that it has been deleted. Once it has been deleted, now nothing can be done. They can't reproduce it. So the arguments remain on that. So maybe it has not come up for final arguments. It would have come up for interim orders. So whatever, because you see, when the list is prepared, the different purpose that the case is taken up. So to that extent, the case, the honorable judge rightly took the facts on record because it had not been put on an affidavit. It was something which was suddenly revealed, which made the entire, at least the object being infructuous. Now, whether that deletion was malified or bona fide or in accordance with the law, that has to be examined at a later date. That is what remains as far as the case is concerned. We are more on the bona fide of the government, BJP, RSS appointed election commission. Because they are all on the same page, they have all become synonymous. It is not an election commission which is Election Commission of India, as Session used to call himself. This is an election commission of Government of India, in particular BJP. And that is how it will always be known, and that is how it has always been acted.
No, but then what is the way out for tackling this kind of a vote theft? Which means that if you catch a vote theft which is happening, and if you petition in the courts, then the courts also cite helplessness. They won't do anything much. So is there a way out? What do you do? And what is the option left now?
The way out is that tomorrow, like the counting is going on, and the entire state is very vigilant, at least the opposition, because they are apprehending that there is going to be massive rigging in the counting. And that is based on the previous experience. The Election Commission of India, the political parties, the candidate, and now the people of this country, and also obviously the courts, all of them know one fact, that if the returning officer is compromised is in the pocket of the ruling party, or is being pressurized by the superior on the threat of spoiling his ACR, or he is already complicit in having a political belief which is aligned to the government in power, or he is doing it for his selfish interest, and once he gives a certificate, wrong or right, to the candidate who has lost the election, that cannot be undone for the next 5 years. Though the law states that you have to file an election petition within 45 days. If you file it within 45 days, it has to be disposed of within 6 months. But you are lucky if they dispose it off within 5 years. You are extremely lucky. It's not happening.
But
let me complete my point. So that be the case, what they should do, if they lose, and even if they don't have sufficient grounds, they should immediately, all of them who suspect any type of foul play, should file an election petition immediately. Because if you have filed an election petition, suppose Mahagathbandhan, due to rigging, loses 50 seats by a margin of 25, I'm taking 25,000 votes. you presume that there is rigging by the election commission in cohort with the BLA and the BLO and the ERO, because that is what is the evidence on the ground based on the publication of the data by Reporters Collective, that this has been going on. Duplicate votes, this, that. You file it, collect the data in 45 days, amend your petition. You are always allowed to amend your petition and bring in more facts which are aligned with it. So
I want to clarify something from you about the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Like everybody was saying, there was a report by Vote for Democracy which said that 79 seats were such where a rampant rigging has taken place. Parkala Prabhakar, several others. We have also talked about it, how this brazen rigging happened. But now, is there a way out? Now, the Election Commission, are we to assume that they have avoid all the CCTV footage?
There is no way out. You see, in those 79 constituencies, you had to file an election petition within 45 days.
Right.
So if the candidate or the electorate, strangely enough, this everybody skips. Even an electorate has a right, any voter of that constituency has a right to challenge the validity of that election within 45 days. It is not only linked to the candidate, but the limitation period for filing is 45 days. Once you breach that, Election Commission gets the protection that it is limited, it is governed by the law of limitation. Every appeal, every this thing has a limitation period. In this case, it is 45 days. So you learn with your past experience. So that is why I was
lost the opportunity to fight out the vote theft.
Yes.
Lost.
It is totally lost, but there is a larger clause that fraud is not a defense. So if you can prove wholesale fraud, you can go under that head. You are not going under the head of challenging that petition. You are saying, which a political party can do, because once a fraud, always a fraud. There is no limitation to that. There are unteam cases in which it has been decided. I can only go and file a petition or something when I come to know about the fraud. So if the Election Commission has not given me the machine readable electoral list by which I could have detected, if it gave me the list at the last moment and I had no software, and Election Commission has admitted that it did not deliberately run the deduplication software in the time of 24 election to facilitate the rigging and taking over 79 seats. See, you have to be innovative in law. You will find it's happening all the time in the American courts. But over here, unfortunately, our big shot lawyers are interested in minting money. Those who are in the legal cell, they are lazy, or they are not galvanized properly, or they are not listened to. So these are the innovative methods by which you can go to the court. For that, they are erasing this footage. Now, once the stable doors have been this thing and the horse has fled, by meaning hereby that 45 days are over, and then you discover wholesale fraud, then now you have to take preemptive measures so that they don't erase the footage. So what do? Elections are over. Tomorrow counting takes place. The returning officer is influenced. This has happened in last election. There was one constituency in Bihar where the person was there to give he was the candidate of Mahagathbandhan had won. So he was going to give him the certificate of getting election, having won the election. He phoned his superior. His superior said, don't give him this thing. You wait till I come. This guy, he was a conscientious guy. He gave him that certificate of election and he said, now you run away from this place. Now you have got this certificate. So the crux says, you have won by 50,000 votes. But I, as a crooked, like you saw in that Masi in Chandigarh, I am a BJP man. I am influenced. You have won by 50,000 votes. I give your opponent a certificate that he has won the election.
No, but the courts, when the courts have such a passive response to such petitions, even though the petitions are filed within 45 days, but if the courts keep on delaying, then what is the hope left? Now, say, for example, if there is any kind of theft which is discovered in Bihar elections, even if the petitions are filed within 45 days, what happens? Are we hopeful that the courts will respond with alacrity, with briskness, and they will tackle the issue? Because the judges also seem to be going very slow as far as these petitions are concerned.
No, democracy is not a priority for the court. They have proven it time and time again. I am making a proposition which can be tested historically. See, it is something, if you find that 95% of the petitions are not being disposed within the 5-year, 6-month period, except those which are being dismissed due to some lacuna or whatever, anything which is contested is never disposed of within 6 months. In fact, a very recent example where the candidate in Haryana said that my postal votes were not counted, I lost by 30 odd votes. Please just have the postal votes counted in the court, and I don't want to challenge anything else. That was going to be counted within the 1 week. That person went to the Supreme Court and he got a stay on that, and Supreme Court willingly gave a stay. So this is a non-serious, there is no accountability. You saw Messi or whatever his name was, rigging over there, committing a fraud, Chandrachud blowing hot and cold, and then having cold feet. Did nothing. So what was the message? You rig, you get caught, the Supreme Court catches you, but nothing will happen to you because you favored the...
Right. No, I get your point, but look at what is happening in Bihar across so many pockets of Bihar.
See, our institutions have every place our institutions have degenerated beyond repair. You saw that candidate who was denied nomination arbitrarily, and he went to the Chief Justice's court. He said, "Come to me after the counting is over."
Yes.
So they have entrapped themselves royally. Once you announce the election, nothing can happen. So today, the Election Commission announces the election. The entire government machinery is what conducts the election. They don't have any independent person over there.
No, but
they decide.
No, but Mr. Agarwal, is there an explanation why these CCTV cameras were put off? Is there an explanation how this truck, which is full of boxes, entered inside the premises of Sasaram strong room? Are there any explanations for that?
No. Now, whatever, you see, for everything there is an explanation. See, you put it past the bureaucrat not to have an explanation for the most egregious, for the most corrupt act that they commit. They always have an explanation. You would have seen in that Adani 62,000 crore deal, it was done through tender. So some explanation will be there. Oh, they were empty trucks only. We had brought them so that after the votes are counted, they can be carried away somewhere else. What can you say about it? Except that was not the eve. You could have waited for a day. So you forget all that. Those things are what can be very easily explained. One should not get into. Leave that. Look at the more egregious type of, like the switch is off. Now the CCTV footage is not there. That becomes a ground for challenging the election. You do it. The moment you do it and you put this thing that all CCTV footage of all the constituencies shall be retained. Now the Election Commission is put on notice. You are wiser after the event because they have changed the law, because the courts have ruled, because we have deleted. So now don't make the mistake again. Like in 17C, I don't know whether, I have not seen a statement. In Tamil Nadu and other places, literacy is high. They can have their polling agent instructed that you will not move till you get the 17C form. I don't know whether that compliance has happened in Bihar. I haven't seen RJD or Congress come out with a statement that all the 17 C forms are there. They cannot be compelled to put it on the net. So all these things you have to bear in mind, and you have to be wiser after the event. Like today, they have given a very aggressive statement, and they have warned that please, the government servants, please don't manipulate with the results this time. Otherwise, people will be on the streets, and the statement has been condemned, linked to Gen Z and all that, like in Nepal and all that nonsense that is uttered during election time by irresponsible leaders. All that has been uttered already. So Bihar is on high alert. So let us see tomorrow, because by rigging starts right from the preparation of the electoral roll, and it goes on till the counting and the certificate is given. That entire period, and that is all sanitized. The court will not interfere because some ruling was given years back. So now that has become the Lakshman Rekha for the court. How can we intervene? Elections have been called. You come to us. So even if you go the next day, they will not do anything. So all that, you see, we are living in a Kafka's type of situation, where everything is suspect and the state keeps on manipulating. So you have to guard yourself. You have to be one step ahead of now the thief is the state itself, is the ECI itself. ECI has become shameless. It doesn't matter whatever epithets you use against it. It has become his master's voice. So what do you do in that case? It is only for posterity that you can catch them and hope that someday this type of manipulation will come out in the open. So this thing is that tomorrow, whenever you are saying, you amend your petition, but file a petition.
Right.
Everybody should file a petition. Whoever suspects that there has been a foul play, because they are going to destroy the records as soon as possible, because they are complicit. Tell me, you see, I am asking Mr. Gyanesh Kumar Gupta, because he hides his title for whatever reason, probably to conceal this thing. But why is it that we have not come across any person who has impersonated and voted? Have you caught? How many people have you caught? Should you not provide that data? That in Bihar election, there were so many voters who were caught impersonating another person. We saw one boy running into the field. In the earlier election, there was another guy who had taken videos and he had said, "Humne to itne vote giraye." Chapa. So all that is going on. So now, if he doesn't catch anybody, can't we say, put the foot on the other this thing, कि आपने तो एक भी नहीं पकड़ा, इसका मतलब कि सारा रिग था, देखिए एक दो तो हम ही लोगों ने देख लिया. At what time, I'm sorry to switching to Hindi, have you ever caught anybody rigging the Form 6, Form 7? When there is so much of, manipulation of the electoral roll, and Rahul Gandhi is hammering it, and he has shown it in 3 different occasions, and he has talked about lakhs, 25 lakhs in Haryana alone. What has happened to the Form 6, Form 7 of this thing? How many people have you caught? How many EROs have you caught under Section 32 of the this thing law relating to impersonation or this thing, ERO not preparing a proper role and being complicit? So under the Representation of People Act, all that is provided. Your answer is nil. When it is nil and you are caught on camera over there, now you have to explain what have you done. The only time something like that happened was in Aland, when that FIR was filed on the behest of the candidate with the then state electoral officer, which has now resulted in this SIT being formed, and there people have been caught red-handed. So far, it has been traced that it was an organized data center which was deleting vote at the rate of 80 rupees per this thing. Who is responsible for switching off this deduplication software? Is it not a criminal offense? And if you switched off, and if there were duplicate votes, and elections have been fought, and that has become the basis of SIR, then are you not liable for it? Are you having clean hands? Give all these explanations. You see, when you people will scrutinize you intensely if you are rigging the elections at all stage, because that is what the freedom movement was fought for. And unfortunately, BJP didn't fight for it. And that is why they are rigging and they don't cherish a free election, because they were rigging it then. They were the riggers of the freedom movement, and they are the riggers of fair election today.
Yeah.
And they are rigging every institution.
Yeah. Okay, so we are having this interview on the eve of Bihar counting. Now let's see what happens tomorrow, and can the rigging, or what if there is at all some kind of a rigging or fraud during the counting process, that also has to be watched out for. So we'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal, for joining on HW. Thank you.